Hey, good morning. I'm Rocky Gilbert, Operations Chief with the Hermits Peak and Calf Canyon Fire, here to give an update for June 11th. So again, this is for specifically the south zone of the fire. There is another team that is in control of the north zone of the fire. So today, just talking a little bit more about the repair work that we've got going on. All of our repair is pretty much done north of Guyanas Canyon. Now we're focusing on a lot of this that is down on the south end. So you should be seeing, if you're living down there, you should be seeing our heavy equipment and our crews working down in your communities, looking for any places that they need to do that repair work. Again, dozer lines, fences, hand lines, anything that was created during our suppression efforts. As we move around the fire, we're starting to get some of that repair equipment moving around over to the west side. So they're going to start looking at how do they repair a lot of the work that was done. The Skyline Trail is a major trail that's on this forest, and it was impacted by suppression efforts as a holding structure. So we had some good discussions last night with the local resource advisors on how best to repair the trail, put it back more to its natural state that there it was before the fire came through. So that work is going to start happening to repair that Skyline Trail area. As we move up into the fire that's in the wilderness, just a few points for folks to know. There is still some fire activity kind of there east or west of Elk Mountain, so we still have our resources up there working to ensure that no fire comes south and gets established in any of this country. Our most active fire right now is up in near the Trampas drainage, where it comes into the Rio Mora. So that's this country in here. And I just want to point out that the community of Iron Gate, the Geronimo Ranch, the Grass Mountain Estates, that's relatively close to where we're doing that active firefighting, and is why we're still in a go up in there. We still have a lot of firefighters, a lot of equipment that are kind of spiked out in there, and then the fire's fairly close to those communities. No threat at the moment, but just want to point that out to the folks that are in there. Another thing, we talked a little bit on the community meeting last night about structure triage. So I'll just talk about just one set of it. Structure triage can be a pretty deep subject to get into for those in the field that have to make those decisions. But so one of the things I want to talk about is why a home may have sprinklers and others don't. So again, we have to go in and decide where we're going to put our resources. We don't have enough to cover every single home in a community. And so we look at the places that are the easiest to save. So you may have a house that has lots of green area, what we would consider kind of a safety zone that we could protect with just an engine or two. And so they may not have any sprinkler systems in there because they feel that they can go in and protect it. You may have a home that's, we think it's probably savable, but it's not going to be a really good place for our firefighters to be because of just the amount of vegetation. But they've done some work, and so those places we may set up a sprinkler system that we can set up, get started, and then let the fire blow through the area, and then we could bring people back, and hopefully that sprinkler system has kept any fire damage to a minimum. And then you may have another place that has no sprinkler systems. We probably aren't going to put anybody because there's just too much vegetation, flammable material, no good escape routes. Not a safe environment for our firefighters to be in. So those could be some scenarios that you could see in your homes. We know that we've put some places back into set that may have some structure protection equipment around it, and some questions on why one house has something and another one doesn't have been out there. So just wanted to share that with folks. Overall, we do have the crews in there on that piece I was talking about. They have been monitoring that. They have actually been using helicopters. We have what's called a mobile retardant base, so they mix the retardant in big buckets basically, and those helicopters come and dip out of it, and they can place that relatively tactically. So they can pick places to put the retardant specific to the fire, as opposed to like we were showing with the aircraft last night. That's a long line that is not as accurate, I guess, as what we can do with the helicopters. I know a lot of people are interested in what's happening on the Midnight Fire, which is northwest of where we're at here. the North Zone is really more tied into, the North Zone team is more tied into what's happening up there, but we are still coordinating with the regional fire folks. We sent a crew there yesterday, and we sent another crew there today. So as we can, we're trying to help give some resources to those other fires, but we still have to maintain the proper amount of people here to be able to protect the communities. So that will be continuing for any new fires around the region. We'll look to see if we can support them in any way. So lots of good work still happening. We're still focused on protecting the communities that are closest to the fire. And that's your update for today.